Happy Tuesday. Happy Taco Tuesday to everyone. Hope you had your Taco Tuesdays for lunch or somewhere along the day. And we're starting a little late tonight. Had a lot of activities today. So let's get started. First, let's take a look at what happened on the S&P 500 map today. The index is sold off towards the end. Was kind of a mixed bag. NVIDIA sold off hard before its earnings tomorrow. Microsoft was up slightly, Apple up slightly, Amazon off. Tesla remained its resurgence a little bit here. Oil mostly down, industrials a mixed bag. And so there we have it. And I want to share our annuity screen. Most people would be better off in an annuity. Why? Because annuities values never go down. They only go up. Once you go up on this step, it doesn't go down like the indexes do. Once it goes up the next step, it doesn't go down where the indexes do go down. And annuities give you anywhere between 20 and 33% bonus on new money put in. So this is how it beats indexes averages by about 5%. So that is that. And now let's go to the news. The news of the day. I typed away from the news. Get back to the news. Sorry about that, everyone. Here we go. North Korea said it will launch a satellite in the period of August 24th to August 31st into the Yellow Sea and East China Sea. NHK Public Television said, quoting the Japanese Coast Guard. On to our stock news in consumer. Lowe's, LOW, quarter two EPS $4.56 versus estimate of $4.49. BJ's Wholesale, BJ, quarter two adjusted EPS 97 cents versus estimate 90 cents. Coty in the cosmetic area, COTY. I believe the Kardashians are invested in this, have ownership. Quarter four adjusted EPS 1 cent versus estimate of 2 cents. Motorsport Games, MSGM, said as of July 31st, 2023, the company's cash and cash equivalents has reduced further to 1.4 million. Said it does not believe it has sufficient cash on hand to fund its operations for the remainder of fiscal year 2023. And that's not very good news. Energy, Industrial and Materials, Dragonfly Energy, DFLI, quarter two EPS 25-cent loss versus estimate 19-cent loss. Flex Steel Industries, FLXS, quarter four adjusted EPS 36 cents versus estimate 35 cents. Nordson Incorporated, NDSN, quarter three EPS $2.22 versus estimate of $2.32. Pure Cycle Technologies, PCT, files to sell $200 million of green convertible senior notes. Westport, WPRT, announced that David Johnson, CEO, has decided to step down as chief executive officer and will resign from the board effective immediately. On to financials. S&P Global on Monday cut credit ratings and revised its outlook for multiple U.S. banks, following a similar move by Moody's, warning that funding risk and weaker profitability will likely test the sector's credit strength. S&P downgraded the ratings of Associated Bancorp, ASB, Valley National Bancorp, VLY, UMB Financial, UMBF, America Bank, CMA, and KeyCorp, KEY. citing large deposit outflows and prevailing higher interest rates. Coinbase, COIN, said it will acquire equity stake in crypto operator Circle Internet Financial, said it will also shut down jointly managed Center Consortium, the operator of stablecoin and US dollar coin, USD coin. Iron Mountain, IRM, upgraded to outperform from sector perform at RBC Capital. On to healthcare. Kenvue, KVUE, to replace Advanced Auto Parts, AAP, and S&P 500 at the open on 8/25, and Advanced Auto Parts to replace Emergent Biosolutions, EBS, in the S&P 600 at the open on 8/25. Teva Pharmaceuticals, TEVA, and Glenmark Pharmaceuticals agreed to pay criminal fines totaling $255 million. Oh my! And divest their versions of a certain cholesterol drug to resolve charges related to price fixing under the DPA, which will allow Teva to avoid mandatory exclusion from participation in federal healthcare programs. Teva will pay a fine of $225 million over 5 years, with $22.5 million due each year from 2024 to 2027, and $135 million due in 2028. Pfizer, PFE, said that the FDA has approved Brisvo, its bivalent RSV prefusion F or RSV pre-F vaccine for the prevention of LRTD and severe LRTD caused by RSV in infants from birth up to 6 months of age by active immunization of pregnant individuals at 32 to 36 weeks gestational age. Agility, AGTI, announces a $50 million share buyback. Technology, media, and telecom. Baidu, BIDU, quarter two EPS $3.11 versus estimate $2.32. Fabrinet, FN, quarter four adjusted EPS $1.86 versus $1.80. Zoom Video was on the move at the open this morning. ZM, quarter two EPS $1.34 versus estimate $1.05. And ARM Holdings, ARM, filed to go public late Monday, registering for an offering of American Depository shares, according to a filing with the SEC. And that's our news for today. So let's go take a look at actually happened today. Here's the chart. First of all, this is Frontline, which we were looking at the other day, has a yield of 14.2% and backed off a little bit today. But before we forget, let's take a look at Zoom. It was up earlier and then it sold off $1.44, $2.14. And let's go take a look at the dollar, which has the inverse relationship of gold and silver, and the dollar was up strong today. Even though it was only up 10 cents, 0.35 cents. Look at silver, had been moving up, and lo and behold, it's continue its move. Looks like we got some professional money moving in here, getting stronger as the days go on. See if it can get above its 50-day moving average. And gold was actually up 0.16 cents, go figure. So let's take a look at copper. Copper has remained strong and went up another 6 cents after hours. Take a look at our Southern Copper is up as well, up 0.81%. And look at our copper miner, FCX, was up in the morning and then sold off in the end, was up 16 cents. So let's go take a look at our bond yields. 10-year bond was up in the morning and then sold off. Still pretty high. If we go back and look, our key area was 4.09 and significantly above 4.09. So stock market is actually above 4.333, which it hit on 10/20 of 2022. See if we can go back any further. Yeah, this was a peak and has gone past the peak. Well, I guess all the stock traders are hoping that this is a double top and that rates will come down. Take a look at the 20-year. 20-year sold off, filled the gap. As we have said before, 80% of gaps fill and then return to the trend. So we'll have to continue to watch this. Look at the volatility index. Continues to pull back. Remember, we said we have this gap down here that will eventually fill. 100% of gaps on the VIX fill. And if that's the case, the S&P 500 will be trending up. What the S&P 500 did. Interesting, the VIX fell, and so did the S&P 500. Not much, a little over 0.25%, but still it fell. And the QQQ, NASDAQ, fell 0.14%. It was up earlier. That's interesting. The Dow Jones down slightly. And the small caps, where all of our small banks are, where we got the report by S&P Global, sold off 0.3%, still above their 200-day moving average, but it is below the declining 10, 20, and 50-day moving averages. Let's take a quick look at some of our market averages. Technology tried to break up, continue its bounce yesterday. I said this may be a dead cat bounce, and that's to remain seen, I guess. Depends largely on our rates on the bonds. So see, this is where Meta and Google reside. Was up earlier and pulled back. A little stalling action there. Take a look at our banking sector. Continues to fall. People really looks like professional money management is moving out. Couldn't move higher here. Tried to break out, and it's been falling ever since. And then look at this volume. This is huge volume. It's not as big as over here, but it's definitely more than the average. Take a look at our semiconductor index. Tried to move higher and sold off. Once again, we got pretty huge volume here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Even this one's above average. 5, 6 out of the 10 12 days here. So that's a sign to look out. Software, a little stalling action there as well. Biotech is holding up good. This version of biotech is mainly flat. Infrastructure tried to move up and sold off late. Guess we got industrials tried to move up and they sold off as well. Consumer staples continues to fall. Utilities bouncing a little bit. And take a look at mining and metals. Now this is pretty healthy. It's trading in a pretty tight range. Was up almost a 0.5% today. We got 1, 2, 3 days of pretty good buying volume in here. And finally, the housing index. It tried to move up, but it's in a tight range. It just won't go down any further. So possibly it has hit bottom, but we'll only know that in a couple of days from now. So that's a look at major ETFs. Pull up where the big money was flowing. Got this Chinese company. Their earnings must have popped because it's gapped up, and look at all that volume. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of about 15 days, huge buying. Traded in a pretty tight range, all above his 50-day moving average, and now it's broken out. Look at this, earnings in 2023 up 120%, up another 24% next year. They don't have any yield. Up-down volume ratio is a little high. You want it, I think you want it to be under 1.2. So that's what we got there. At Q, veterinarian grade medicines. Look at this trend. So the question is, has it hit the top of its channel? Huge buying. The earnings came in at plus 39%. Although volume has been declining the last few days. Pretty well extended. I think it'd be a pretty risky buy at this point, but who am I? We got B. Riley Financial. In a down day in financial stocks, it's up with pretty good volume. Modine Manufacturing, been in the news for buying interest, 166% earnings, and the earnings surprise 92%. Definitely something to have on your watch list. We got Marriott. Had some pretty good buying lately. The earnings came in at plus 26%, about a 4% earnings surprise. Do they have any yield? They have a 1% yield on dividends. Photonics continues to have buying along the way. Here, 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 and here, and here. Their earnings are due in 9 days. I'll see what they can do there. Their earnings are supposed to expand 52% in 2024. ANIP. Building a shelf. Pretty tight pattern here. Just won't go down. We got some buying in here. We do have 2 days of strong selling as well. $182% earnings increases here. That'll get your attention. Wynn Resorts. I'd say that's a bit of a nothing burger. Volume was up, but didn't really have much movement. See where people are running out of. Dick's Sporting Goods. Look at that gap down. 24% loss today. Doesn't really have the updated earnings, but 12% earnings growth in 2024 and 2% in 2025. I take it people weren't pleased with their earnings report and the news. Canadian Solar continues the downdraft. It's just not looking too good. Even though their earnings were supposed to be up 62%, technicals will tell you things are not going well. Zimmer Biomet, biotech company, just continues to sell off. Once again, 0% earnings. People weren't pleased with that. Got a big gap down here, and it's just continued to fall like a falling knife ever since. Urban Outfitters fell big time, over 4% today. Although after hours it did recover. So we'll just have to see how the earnings came in. Toronto Dominion Bank. Look at that huge volume. Yeah, it just doesn't look very good. Relative strength rating is 34, and the line is heading straight down here. BJ was in the news. People weren't happy with the news, down 5%, falling pretty hard, and look at that volume. You had a gap down over here, so this was a little clue what could be coming. It's going up here, but what we like to call this is wedging. See, the volume remained really low, and the stock is going up in price. If it can't get the volume above the average line, this is typically wedging, and watch out below. Premier, supply chain management, down 3.34, but the trend had been going down before then. Volume had started to pick up on selling, so it doesn't look good. So that's our report for today on where the big money is moving. Got a couple of education portion. This is what a healthy stock looks like. This is one of the 5 best of the year. Stock has moved up. You see if got a consolidation. We got a double bottom here. And once it broke above the middle, or the W, middle of the W, this is buying opportunity. See if we can see that on the daily. So here's the first leg down, it pops up. Here's the middle of the W. Here's the second leg down, breaks that lower channel. And here is when it breaks above that level. Huge volume is just increasing. Here we got a little bit of sell-off, but except for one day, the volume is pretty low. That's what you like to see. And once again, it breaks out again. Look at that volume. We had a one day of heavy selling here. All the other days were blue. Another heavy day, probably somebody taking their profits. And now we go into another consolidation here. 99 is a relative strength. We'll see if this line can break above this one. Just needs to go up slightly further. Earnings were negative 74 cents compared to $10.14. So their sales must be growing. Let's take a look at that. December was their worst. September and December quarter were the worst. And then March it dropped to $1.20, and it is improving here. EPS rating is a 67 out of 99. Of course, there's no yield. Number of funds is growing. Professional money managers are supporting this, 33, 31, jumped to 39. And in June, jumped to 115. Let's open the panel over here. Can take a look at some of the funds. Hero Price, New Horizons. We can move our screen a little bit. So show fund ownership. Here's some of the mutual funds that are holding disc medicine. Hero Price, New Horizons is one of the better rated ones. So at the time, this was 34 funds. We got Fidelity, 2 Fidelity funds, Vanguard funds, got a Schwab Capital Total Stock Market. So that's a look at that. Not saying to buy this, I'm just saying do your own research. This is where we do some of our research. And let's see what some of the other companies that we looked at yesterday or did today. Frontline, holding steady there, 14.3% dividend yield. TK Tankers sold off a little bit, almost 1%. Has 2.3% yield. In the relative picture, looks like it's building a handle here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. Excuse me, a 4-week tight it looks like it's working on. Form, 25.8 dividend yield. Looks like it's trying to build the right side of its base. Needs to get above the 200-day moving average. Earnings came in at plus 79%, 5.57% gain. These stocks are all in the same sector. Tankers for oil. International Seaway up 43%. Take a look at their dividend yield. It's only 1%. But once again, looks like they're holding in a really tight pattern. And one other Euro NAV. Sold off a little bit today. Their dividend yield is 17.6%. Look at these earnings. Last earnings in June up 999%. Sales 213, 197%, 134%. Okay, let's go to the two bio. We looked at one bio stock in iron. BLTE. Looks like it's in the same sector as iron. We profiled it over here because of the tight trading pattern it had exhibited. And right after we profiled that, it went up 30% in 2 days. So it's got a little bit of a pullback, which you would understand people who bought over here or even over here decided to take some of their money back. But we'll continue to watch that and report back to you on it. And finally, Greenwich Life Sciences. Yesterday sold off strong, but we got a lot of buying back at the end of the day. Today it closed at 10. See if this after hours amounts to anything tomorrow. A lot of times the after hours doesn't do anything, but this is a 12-month price target of $36, says Yahoo Financial. And we had a lot of buying yesterday. We'll just continue to watch this. And that's our report and educational session today. Hope everybody had a great Taco Tuesday and go out there and make a difference. Keep working on your goals and your activities. And if we can help you with any of your financial activities, let us know. This has been Mornings with Michael for informational and educational information only.